Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere, and even earn money. We like that. All in one place for totally free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your cellular telephone or your computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else, those other places that podcasts are heard.
Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free, zero catch. We've been using it ever since we started How Long Gone. And ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel like having the option of turning off the Q&As and the polls on the user dashboard has really helped boost my creativity and take it to another level. I highly recommend giving it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hello, Chris.
What's up, dipshit? How are you?
Oh, come on, be nice.
Oh, I'm just Josh and Teej. Love to talk to you, bro. Some people go to church on Sunday. I talk to my friend TJ for an hour and record it for people to hear. And that's how I look at you.
Podcast. I record it for people to hear.
Exactly. That's a good tagline for big podcast.
Even though there is we'll get into that later, but there's a new development for this podcast where we may be going beyond the realm of audio.
I think that it's only the next natural step for people that are as charismatic and good looking as you and I.
It is true. I mean, while the getting is good, I'm not going to be this hot forever.
Exactly. I mean, I think we're both peaking hotness like right now, so we need to capture this on film. Well, maybe not film, but digitally at least.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking, #35.
#35. #35 is a lifestyle. #120 is what I'm on. You're not there yet, but you're gonna get there. I take TJ, I put his big ass on my back, and I walk us to the top. That's what I fucking do.
Yeah, and the top is occupied by the 3 people who are still shooting medium and full format film photography. Is that what's going on?
Actually, you're wrong, Al. I mean, Jason. We'll
save that for later.
The community is big, and they're happy to shoot and love it.
The photography community is happy to shoot?
The photography community that are still using medium format cameras, it's very popular among skilled photographers. Is what I'm
right. So 120 is medium format. What is full format? Do you know?
Bitch, I don't know. No one does that. I'm sure
know.
That sounds like some
What
weird...
is this? Charlie Chaplin? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, is this a silent film? Hell no. This ain't even black and white, baby. We're full Technicolor.
I wish your life was a silent film sometimes.
I'll hang up this phone. What's going on with you, big dog?
Just more fun do-it-yourself projects around the house this weekend.
Jason looking like Lowe's, looking like Home Depot.
Yeah, I stay in Home Depot, and Home Depot, much like visiting the grocery store, I like that they have the self-checkout line because you can always just steal a little bit. I'm not doing full thievery, but you got to take a little something.
You're doing
a little something off the top.
You're doing Tim Erwan where he takes the pocket loaf and it's always bad. I like that.
Don't dry snitch on Twin like that, please.
Well, I think as a former semi-professional shoplifter, Home Depot was my zone of choice, as you know.
That's right. Yeah. But when I'm going there, I'm buying like 8 rain gutter brackets and then only scanning 5 of them.
Sick.
Whereas you're walking out with air conditioner units in a shopping cart and then putting them inside the back of a Mercedes-Benz.
No, this was pre-Mercedes. once I could afford the Benz, I left the streets behind. You know what I mean?
Copy that,
I didn't want to risk it for my family and my loved ones. You know.
Damn. Okay. Did you ever have one last ride, Ocean's 11 style, in Chris Black's life?
No, I don't think
one score to end it all before you flee to Morocco under an assumed name.
No, unfortunately, I fled Atlanta for New York and kept the same name, so I didn't really go out with a bang like I should have. And I unfortunately, I wasn't. So this is all happening in high school. I wasn't even wearing a tuxedo to do my crimes or anything cool like that. So hate to disappoint you, but I was in a t-shirt and cargo shorts with some Vans on. The Armani tuxedo was only to come later.
That's fine. Yeah, but today I assembled a pergola in the backyard.
What the fuck that? What's a pergola? That sounds like an Italian dish.
It's kind of like, it's somewhere like an awning gazebo type of situation, just kind of like a wooden frame that has some slats on the top as well, that's sort of meant to have maybe some vines of some sort climb over it eventually.
Okay. Well,
and create a Tuscan under a Tuscan sun style backyard setting here in Glendale.
When Glendale goes from Armenia to Tuscany, it's a fucking movie.
Well, speaking of podcasting and Glendale, I learned last night at...
Speaking of podcasting and Glendale, we're the only people that ever talk about those two things. But yes, go ahead, please.
Well, I mean, you might be singing a different tune after I drop this bomb on you, but I was...
Hit me.
I was having a social D... That's a social D dining experience.
Not your favorite K-Rock band.
Truly, Social D, one of my least favorite bands in the history of music.
I know that. I know that about you. Actually, that's why I said that. So, I'm sorry. You're Social D'ing.
I learned that that failing podcast star Marc Maron lives in my neighborhood.
Marc Maron,
Marc
enemy,
Maron.
how long gone enemy, has now picked up and moved his failing operation of bad blues riffs to Glendale.
His lady just passed recently, Chris. We can't come for him with such harsh words just yet.
I mean, R.I.P. But like that ain't me. I mean, that ain't have nothing to do with me. This is me versus Mark. This is me. After the Seinfeld interview, I just can't. I can't take another step with Mark, even if he's your neighbor. But if you do make friends with him, I think that would be good for business. So I support that.
I agree, and especially if I ever need to pick up a unique guitar pedal or something like that, it'll be good to have him in my good graces. But
every time you see him, you got to scream "Lock the gates" and throw Nicorette at him. That's our launch of our Reels channel. That scene. But anyway, I'm sorry. So how'd you find this out?
Mark, it's a prank. Mark, it's a prank.
He's never seen prank shows. He's too serious for that. He's
True.
What? How did you find out this information?
So a friend of a friend is trying to maybe move in on Mark for romantically speaking.
Damn, who's hurting that bad?
I mean, some people, I think because somebody asked who's your celeb crush, and she was like, oh, Marc Maron.
Well, he is. I mean, he is for 75 years old and being locked in a garage. He does look pretty good, to be honest. And he's rich, so he's fine.
And he's rich, and he got rich by doing what he wants, and that's hot as hell. You know what I mean?
That is actually chub-inducing. I agree.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't consider Howard Stern to be attractive whatsoever. Physically, but millions of people are very attracted to him.
You would absolutely let fucking Howard Stern tear down those cakes, and it's because he's cool. Marc Maron is better looking than Howard Stern, but much less cool and poor compared. I mean, Howard Stern is absolutely diabolically rich.
I mean, who amongst us isn't poor compared to the Stern man?
That's a good point. So she is saying I would let Mark fucking bust down, and then it comes up that he lives in the neighborhood.
Comes up that he lives in the neighborhood. Yeah, not just in Glendale, but somewhere within my zone. So, but I think that I would have seen him by now. That's kind of the part that's irking me, because I'm out here in these streets. They know I'm a podcaster, and somebody would be like, "Oh, I mean, you're a podcaster. You know, Marc Maron lives here." You know, I thought that convo would have happened by now.
Well, I think now that we've talked about it on our gigantic platform, that there will be some news that comes to light of his exact address, when he's home, when he's not home, maybe a direct feed of a camera into his bathroom. You know, who knows?
Listeners, if you are in direct contact with Marc Maron, Maybach Music, Maybach Maron, hit me up.
Maybach Maron. Tell him TJ's looking for his ass in Glendale.
Maybach Maron.
I'll see you at Mini Kebab. It's on a site.
DM me his address. And then, you know, I think him and I can finally get that one-on-one going. Finally.
I mean, I think it would be cool, since you're welcoming to the neighborhood, to just drop off, you know, a 12-pack of Nicorette gum and some Blue Bottle, you know, bean for him. That's probably where he's at. That's probably...
Yeah.
What do you think? Because, you know, he loves coffee, and he, like, sips it loudly on the podcast, and he, like, made artisanal mugs for a little while for his merch store. Do you think he's really hitting that fire bean or not?
No, I don't think so, because he's
he on
Starbucks?
Is he 90s. Yeah, he might be on that Starbucks Reserve. No cap.
No. I think he is putting down a good bean compared to failing Starbucks, or even worse, a Pete's or Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. But I think that his 90s vision of
coffee
quality of quality mud. You know, he's living second wave bean, where we are on third and approaching the fourth wave coffee movement.
Well, so what would a second wave bean for Maron be? Like a nice Stumptown regular?
I think it would just be like whatever the equivalent of like a Brooklyn coffee shop in 1994, where it's like, you know, this is actual, like, real NYC coffee, man, honest to goodness, you know.
We roast the shirt. So we're not going to run into Maron at Proof or Maru or any of the good places that we frequent.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that he wants to, but you know, just because of his age, and you know, he's set in his ways. And I also think that he probably has his own line of coffee. I think there's a local. I used to see him at this coffee shop in Highland Park when he still lived there, and he would be there, like, riding and chilling all the time. And I think that he frequented the coffee shop so much that they gave him his own bean, or, you know, a namesake bean.
When are we going to get a namesake bean? This is a good idea for our brand expansion. I think we need a bean, TJ.
It can happen. I mean, I received a pack of beans from our friends up in Canada, I believe.
Is it
Tom
hitting?
Bergen.
It's hitting, right?
Yeah, it was hitting. So, you know, if you know, they're listening right now. They're devoted goners. They lock the gates from the inside up in the frosty north.
Let's get it done.
You know, if you want to go in on a Guatemalan, if you want to, you know, if you want to see what that Ethiopia do.
What does that Ethiopia really do, though?
You know where my DMs are.
That's true. I think we should.
We could talk deal splits. You know,
for me, Jason,
70-30 gone is not out of the question.
No, once you've recouped on obviously your production costs, but the packaging is obviously going to be expensive.
After expenses, of course. I mean, I thought that would be implied, but yeah.
Well, Jason, our listeners aren't as smart as we are, so I want to make sure they know we're doing fair deals only out here. That's very interesting about celebrity podcaster Marc Maron, though, and I love that Highland Park, the worst neighborhood in Los Angeles. I'm very glad he relocated to Glendale, the second worst neighborhood in Los Angeles.
Yeah, the guy wised up, and you do not believe that, Chris.
I don't. I love Glendale. I'm kidding, but Highland Park is absolutely torched, and I think that Maron, it was too on the nose for him to live there. You know what I mean? I think, you know what would be cool is if Maron just flipped the whole shit and moved to West Hollywood. That would be fire.
I mean, as a real estate mogul, I don't think I would recommend a move like that for Mark.
He can afford it, Jason.
Just because you can afford it doesn't mean it's a great investment. Just because you can afford the presidential, Chris.
Jason, the investment
once you once you freeze it down to your whole, until your whole wrist is froze.
We pulling this shit out the ice box right now, baby. You already know what the fuck going on.
It might not be great on the resale.
It might, but what I'm saying is sometimes, Jason, making oneself happy after a tragic event is more important than the resale value. And we have to think about what Mark needs as a man, not just as a mogul and rich person.
Right. So is the tragic event that you speak of his
Jerry
girlfriend
Seinfeld
passing
interview.
away,
No, it's Jerry Seinfeld
or is
interview.
it the fact that he lived in Highland Park?
His Jerry Seinfeld interview and the fact he lived in Highland Park.
What? I didn't listen to his Jerry Seinfeld interview. What's the beef?
I mean, it's just insane how bad it is because like Jerry Seinfeld doesn't want to be there, and it's like over Zoom. It's just not good.
And he's just like, "What is this? This is what do I talk into this? Like, how do?"
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like I mean, look, we do a podcast. Sometimes it's just not good. Except when it's not good with us, no one cares. When it's not good with him, it's Jerry. It's like the biggest comedian of all time, and it's not great.
The sweet irony that Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most famous comedians of all time, was in fact not down to clown.
He was not down to clown, and I think Maron does this thing where he like wants you to talk about the time you met backstage at the store, and like I think Jerry Seinfeld's like, yeah, I was aware of your little ass, bro. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I think Jerry Seinfeld's like, yeah, I saw your little peon ass. I heard you on the radio. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. I listened to it it's pretty recent. It was when I was on my road trip from New York to Atlanta, and I like couldn't believe how bad it was. Like it was like pretty uncomfortable to be honest.
Damn,
but again,
now I want to listen.
All shots.
Was Jerry like, yeah, Mark, I met Lauren. I auditioned. It was a thing.
I just think that it's like, I mean, look, this guy has done some. I mean, I don't listen to it that much anymore, but I listened to it for most people listen to it for a really long time, and I just think it's like, it feels a little irrelevant now. It's like I think when you do 1,000 interviews, it's like who is there to talk to? You know what I mean? And when you also the reality is that the more famous someone is, the less interested they are in doing your podcast and opening up and giving you a good interview. Most of the time.
Most of the time, unless you have the Brad Pitt and DiCaprio three-way with Marc Maron.
That was legendary. But that's legendary.
That was really good. But that's legendary. Those are few and far between.
But overall, I think he's obviously got some fucking jerseys hung in the rafters, and I love to make fun of him because it's obviously low-hanging fruit. But you know, he is an elite podcaster.
Yeah, we'll give him that. Well, speaking of other elite podcasters, Chris, I wanted to talk to you about your boy Dax Shepard.
Yeah, dude. He's first of all, he's not my boy. Second of all, yes. Well, let's talk about
Dax man. Dax man.
What do you think his real name is? Because that Dax is not a name.
I think Dax is a name like Smuckers. It's a name that's so bad, it's got to be real.
It's got to be real. Okay.
Like who in their right mind would be like, all right, Mom, I'm not going to be called Steve anymore. I'm fucking Dax, bitch.
Put Dax on the back of my fucking 7th grade football jersey.
I think it's got to be real.
Dax Shepard has this podcast called Armchair Expert that's wildly popular.
Which is so odd because he was just sort of known as like a 90s actor.
No, actually, Jason, that's where you're wrong. He's one of those guys who's on like a very, very big ABC TV show. So
really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but he's on a show that's very big. So like
he's always been a busy working actor for decades, but I wouldn't call him a household name.
No, but he married Kristen Bell, who is very, very famous. So, like, you know, that makes you more famous. If you're on a network television show and you're married to another famous person and you have kids, you're pretty famous. You know.
Would you? So, on the A list, B list scale, what letter do we give Dax? Is he a D-lister or a C-lister?
No. I would say Dax is honestly a B because of Kristen Bell and because of being if you're on a network television show, like on a major network, that's pretty serious. Like that's pretty.
He's a B boy.
I would say he's a B-boy, but yeah, his podcast, and I've listened to it once. I've listened to it a handful of times just because of the guests. It's not terrible. His co-host is actually from Atlanta, and she's completely insufferable. That's a separate issue. But yeah, so I saw in the news that he relapsed because he is famously sober. He's been sober for like 16 years. And so he did this episode of the podcast that's basically like his full confession of relapsing, and his sobriety his problem was drinking and coke, and he relapsed on OxyContin and like Vicodin after a classic story, like after a handful of injuries. And it was, I mean,
riding those Harleys takes it out of you. So sometimes a fistful of Advils ain't cutting the mustard anymore.
It's really true. But you listened to it, right?
I did listen to it. Yes,
I thought it was pretty great, to be completely honest with you. And I went into it pretty skeptical. There were a few things that obviously hit home with me. Particularly, he said this thing about like, you base your day around like when you're going to take these pills, right? Like, cause that's, so he basically said this thing about like, I woke up excited about my life because I was getting high and it felt good all day. I felt good all day long. And I totally triggered to like waking up at 7 a.m. being like, okay, I'm gonna have some water, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna eat something, then I'm gonna take 8 OxyContin. Like you think about all this stuff and you have it timed out so well that it's like something to look forward to in a way, which I think he articulated that actually very, very well.
Right. So that would be kind of, that's the way a successful functioning addict would operate, of like kind of creating that incentive, the carrot dangling in front of you of like, once you finish your emails and you go to the gym and you hit your soul cycle, you eat a smoothie and shower, shower and shave, and then you pop $300 worth of pills in one.
Well, you gotta have
bite and give it.
To be fair, I didn't want to eat, but you have to, because otherwise you'll throw up. So that, just to be clear, you have to have something in your stomach before you take a fucking fistful of oxys. But
what was your meal of choice?
That was when I was big into a Kashi cereal at the time with a little almond milk, because that's a nice layer. A smoothie isn't enough, honestly. I mean, these pills wreak havoc on your stomach. Like it's the worst. Taking pills on empty stomach is a very, very bad feeling. So, but yeah, I thought he did. I mean, I think the part about like gaslighting and lying to people is like, to me, that's also triggering, because it's like, what are you going to do? Just admit it? Like, what the fuck? If somebody asks you if you're high, you're going to say no if it's noon on a Tuesday and you're supposed to be working. You know what I mean? You're not going to...
You don't want to gaslight your loved one or partner or family or coworkers, but that's the only other option other than coming clean and confessing and going to AA.
Exactly, yeah. So, but you
have to gaslight.
He told a pretty gnarly story too about getting his like 16-year, chip and like a cake at his meeting and being fucking high while he was
off the bars.
That's fire. That's wild shit. Like, that's a wild thing. I don't mean it's cool. I mean it's cool to talk about, because that's really to me that really paints a picture of like, wow, because that's the thing with shit like this. You kind of live a double life, because the secret of being high all the time is also the fun of it in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And until you start realizing, or somebody tells you that, hey, the joke that you think you're playing on everyone is a little more obvious than you realize, perhaps.
Yeah, when you nod out at Dimes with Yimmy Yayo and he thinks you're going to die, or something. Maybe just, I'm speaking, I don't know if Dax knows Yimmy himself, but, I let me speak from personal experience. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty interesting episode. And I think that, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to, like, this is... like his wife is going to get asked about, he said this, but I agree. Like, his wife is doing press for a movie or whatever, and she's going to get asked about this instead of the movie. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, he's been very public about it. So I think that he felt, and I would feel the same if I were in his position, but he felt like, okay, I've been public about the good stuff. I have to be public about the bad stuff. That's like my responsibility. Which I think is very cool. And I thought overall he handled it about as well as you could publicly. And I think people like, I think he, you have to be sympathetic towards it. It's like, I can't, I don't know how you could feel any other way about it, but people are fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. Well, they, they were talking about saying the phrase, while you're enjoying your sobriety, your drug addiction is just in the background doing push-ups, basically.
Which is true.
And so you find that saying to be true.
I mean, I honestly, yeah, for sure, but
because
like,
you don't strike me as, I don't feel like you are, you're looking down at a vodka and soda or a baggie, or if I pull out the backwoods. You're not looking at it like a dog licking his lips when a set of ribs comes out.
No,
it seems like you've got it pretty under control. But
well, I think that's how it works, though. You have it pretty under control until you don't. You know what I mean? And it's like that's the scary thing about it. It's like, I mean, this guy, Dax, 16 years is a eternity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this happens all the time, in this particular style of like, oh, this wasn't even my drug of choice. It would be like if I started, drinking. It's like, well, Chris was never that into drinking like that. He called that quote unquote pussy shit his whole time. So I don't. But
yeah, what happened to Chris? He got really into hoppy IPAs and went off the rails.
It's bad. It's bad. We got to go check on him. But I think that honestly, listening to stuff like that where it really hits home is almost more triggering than like day-to-day life. Like where it's like, oh, these feelings are very familiar and this like really makes sense and speaks to me. Just makes me feel like I'm in a similar boat, which I am obviously because it's, we all of us have that in common. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
it's similar boat because you are also an aging podcaster.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm an aging podcaster with a really obnoxious co-host.
Did you feel? Yeah. What did you feel, or did you feel any type of like performative energy behind it, or like maybe like seeing it as an opportunity to capitalize on, this tragedy in his life in the name of content, the way you'll see, YouTubers being like, I cheated on my girlfriend and I'm gonna film the apology and her crying because it's important, but in the end you're just kind of thinking like, oh, this is gonna get so many clicks.
I mean, I honestly, like, I think when you do something like this all the time, like kind of for a living, it's very natural to do it on the show. You know what I mean? Like if something happened to one of us at this point, good, bad, or indifferent, unless it was like super private, we would probably talk about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that. I think that also with sobriety, I think sharing is such a big part. But
I would talk about it because it would make good content and it would get some more clicks, baby.
But I think people are. It's just different. I think there's this weird kind of honesty and like making amends and all that stuff that comes with. And I think that's part of why he felt compelled. I don't look. I mean, I'm sure he's thinking like, but that's the thing with a guy like this. It's like it's going to come out anyway. You might as well control the narrative. Like when you're famous, it's different. You know what I mean? Like if something happens to one of us, it ain't gonna no one cares. So we're choosing to talk about it because we want to. And hopefully those intentions are pure. But I felt like, I mean, did you feel like it was perform? I didn't.
No, I didn't feel like it, but I felt maybe like I could hear in his voice like him wrestling with the idea or maybe the guilt of like coming out and trying to figure out a way to come out and talk about this on the show and maybe justifying it as like a healthy example for other people about how these things are real situations that can happen. You can be, this rock solid, sober guy for almost 20 years or whatever, kids, family, success, make a career on honesty, and then, having a real fuck up and being like, what do we do in this situation and how do we spin it? How do I justify? He's that episode is going to make him, tens and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there was an ad on it, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Well, maybe he's a better man for doing that.
I don't, but I just don't think that. I think that I understand.
Or in fact, he is a better person for doing that.
My mind goes there too because I think we're both very skeptical, especially of like a celebrity. Like I always think the intentions are kind of impure, and maybe I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the situation, how I relate to it, which is that's just what I'm going to do as a human being because that's how I feel. But I don't think that I don't remember an ad.
I don't remember one either. Actually,
can you imagine reading a Manscaped ad in the middle of that? That's that is truly pure comedy right there.
Or if the ad was for like, what's the Malibu Rehab Center?
yeah. So this week, big shout out to Betty Ford. Enter Betty Ford. Enter Betty Ford 20 at checkout to receive 20% off your $100,000
promo code Dax Shepard on BettyFord.com for a free consultation. No credit card needed.
No credit card needed. But yeah, I thought it was good. And I think that it's like that to me is kind of an example of how this medium, which is usually like kind of just full of horse shit, can actually be used in like a pretty powerful way. You know what I mean? Like where it's like, oh, you actually, you know, and I you actually have followers that care about you because it's so big that they want to hear this from you. They don't want to hear it from page 6.
Yeah. And I think it's a good example of content creators and what content creators have to do nowadays to really, you know, have a successful fan base, which is being brutally honest about yourself and your life and revealing about yourself and your personal life in a way like that type of honesty and openness and connection is how you get somebody like, you know, a random actor guy from the 90s that, you know, you would be like, oh yeah, I saw that guy on Law and Order episode or whatever it is, to become this like, you know, guy who is a millionaire off of talking to his bros at his house, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the podcast thing is, I mean, yeah, I think that if you start off famous, it's a very interesting career path because you're going to make money off the rip, basically. You know what I mean? You have fans already, and I think that's
especially
why.
If you use Anchor, you'll be able to start making money off advertising on your first episode.
Good point, Jason. I did not realize that actually. But I do think that the you know, it's like that's why all these celebrities are flocking to the medium because they're like, oh, this shit's easy and I can make a lot of money. And
yeah,
I'm sure
the similarities between this and celebrity DJing is not going unnoticed by them jeans.
Wow, them jeans has been both of his industries of choice have been co-opted by celebrities. How does that make you feel, Jason?
Well, it makes me feel like the things that I do for a living are not too hard.
I would agree with that. You just put up a gutter. You just put up a gutter, bro. Most people couldn't do that. Remember that.
Yeah, Paris Hilton and Pauly D, you can't do this fucking shit, bro.
You can't live this life.
Wilmer Valderrama and Shaq, just because you're good at dunking doesn't mean you're good at playing dubstep, as I am, fucking loser.
That's true, Jason, and I'm glad that you made it out the other side. But yeah, I mean, I would listen to that episode of Armchair Expert if you're interested. I would say it's a good podcast episode. It's a good example of what podcasting can be. Beyond just like laughing and making fun of Marc Maron.
Do you look forward to being more open and revealing about your personal life, family, and struggles?
Yeah,
You're gonna take a page out of the Dax book, or are you gonna?
I can't wait.
We're not gonna do it.
I can't wait till you interrogate me about my life. No, I mean, I'm
not going to interrogate you, but I will, you know, force you to talk about, you know, family problems, you know, despair.
I wish I had family problems. Unfortunately, I feel some guilt about that sometimes because my family life is so solid. It's staggering.
You should feel guilty, you fucking piece of shit.
I know. I have a lot of guilt. You know, it's kind of part of the whole like being white thing.
Yeah, baby.
Oh well, you know, I feel like we have a big announcement to make, TJ.
We do.
And
I was foreshadowing earlier in the episode.
And you know what it is, Jason? And I just, you know, we're two guys that have been in this podcast medium for quite a long time. I wouldn't say Jason's a triple OG. I'm merely an OG. Mm-hmm. And we haven't mastered it because much like Tai Chi, this is bonsai. You know what I mean? This is an ongoing pursuit that takes years and years and it grows and morphs and gets better. But you know what Jason and I were missing, and what I think the listeners of this podcast were missing, is appointment viewing. Do you remember appointment viewing, Jason?
I do remember appointment viewing. You know, I remember every Sunday afternoon I would get excited to watch my HBO shows all together, my Curb Your Enthusiasm, Ali G show, Sopranos, all, you know, Entourage, see what those boys are up to. All in one night. You build up the anticipation all week, and then you watch it live the same exact time that everyone else in the world is watching it, in your time zone respectively, of course. And you know, you get to build up a little something called anticipation, which ends up making things better.
And I think that we were approached by our friends at Mad Decent Protocol. You may be familiar with the head honcho over there. His name is we call him Wes.
Yeah.
You guys probably know him as Diplo, aka Riplo. But we were approached by Mad Decent Protocol. They have a very successful Twitch channel, and Jason, they wanted to bring a new kind of content to the Twitch platform because, to be honest, when Jason and I were first approached, we were skeptical because Twitch is some nerd shit, no cap.
Yeah, and we're not going to be. We're not very good at Fortnite, and we are. Chris is pretty good at DJing, but I don't know if anyone's going to really want to watch him do a live stream from his kitchen. So
no,
we had to think outside the bun.
So we're happy to announce a new venture here. It's called How Long Gone Live, and it will be on weekly Thursday nights, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m.
Pacific Time,
Pacific
8
Time,
Eastern Time,
8 p.m. Eastern Time.
They call that the Friends slot.
Yes, this is must see TV. If we want to bring it all
reserved for only the highest of Nielsen rating users.
And to be honest with you, Jason and I have not downloaded or used Twitch ever, but we have a full team of people in our downtown LA studio that are going to engineer this for us, and we're going to bring you. Yeah. We're going to bring you multiple segments, monologues, just more time with Jason and I that you're desperately craving. So
I don't know if you've seen this, but we're going to be using green screen technology to superimpose images onto the background. It's going to be exciting.
You will be able to communicate with us directly, and we have some ideas. We're tossing around some ideas now, but one thing that we've solidified is that as a service to you, our listeners, we're going to allow you to submit a social media profile, join us via Zoom while we, what would you say, critique is the word, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, critique is the gentlemanly way to put it, but, it could get into a roasting territory. You
will send us the profile of your choosing that best represents you.
It can be your dating profile, it could be your gram, it could be the Raya. No LinkedIn or anything like that.
No, LinkedIn, I prefer LinkedIn. But anyway, you send this stuff in, we bring it up on the screen, and we walk through it together, and we give you advice on how to make it better and to tell you how stupid you are in real time. This is appointment television, guys. So
yeah, and if you have a great profile, then you have nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. If you are looking for honest advice, feedback, and you want to workshop some new picks, we're here to give it to you pro bono.
This is pro bono, baby, because again, we don't digitally panhandle. We just keep giving you hot fire for the low price of free.
Yeah, we provide goods and services for a fee. We do not ask you for something for nothing.
So if you don't have a Twitch account, go ahead and sign up. How Long Gone Live every Thursday. It's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
We want you to iCal.
We're gonna have
reminder.
We're gonna check temperatures and have guests come into the studio. We're gonna have some celebrities. It's truly a variety show. Think of Saturday Night Live but funny. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we're going for. That's kind of what we're going for with How Long Gone Live. It's like,
it'll be like if Saturday Night Live were funny. It will be like if Jesus and Miro was moved a little bit slower. It'd be like if Howard Stern was a little gay.
That's us.
That's what our show is going to be.
That's us. So you can stay tuned to all of our social media accounts, obviously, for more info as we lead up to this. But we're very excited. We had a dry run, a rehearsal, if you will.
It's a tech rehearsal.
A tech rehearsal is what we say in the biz, and it honestly got my fucking chub going. I don't know about you, Jason. I left there excited.
Yeah. It made this idea feel like a little slice of reality. And at first, I was a little, it's a little daunting switching from the audio format that I'm so used to. It's a lot more work producing video content, but the ability for us to use imagery and video and other visuals to tell our story to the world is very exciting.
It's very exciting, and thanks to our friends at Mad Decent for approaching us. Thank you for the services they provide, because let's be honest, Jason, they're doing all the hard work. We just show up and we fucking let it spray, but they got these guys on these computers, these gaming PCs. This is some real dork shit that we're using to our advantage. We're basically co-opting nerd culture and making it cool, and I think we're onto something.
Yeah. We need to break into the gaming market as it slowly takes over
Yes.
our world. And thank God we have this platform because Chris is very bad at League of Legends. I've seen it.
I've never, guys, just to be clear, I've never owned a video game system except a Game Boy, maybe when I was a child. This is not us co-signing gaming. This is us co-signing the future of media, and that might be the Twitch platform.
Yeah, Chris was too busy getting pussy to be playing video games.
I was actually fat and a little more into baseball. But I mean,
me too. What do you know?
That's cool, bro. If you want to give me that, I'll take it. But yeah, we're very excited. So join us on Thursday. We'd love to see you. And our friend Andrew Steele will be manning the keyboard to respond to all of you in a timely manner. So we've got a full team ready to go.
Yeah. We don't come in here trying to troll our chat room. We will shut you down, bitch.
We will shut you down. We're in bed with Big Twitch, so they know us, and they're willing to go to war for us.
Yeah, you can't swat me or dox me. I wish you would try, bro. Come meet the Thule if you wanted.
I wish you could, bro. But yeah, that's the biggest development in How Long Gone Land, I think. Is there anything else going on, Jason?
In terms of State of the Union stuff, not really. If you ordered a Sex in the City shirt, those are shipping out this week. Thanks to everyone who copped. We've been upping the order amount, so we're making even more and more. You guys are copping, so thank you very much.
You are copping, and we have some more. We have obviously some more hot fire in the pipeline. So I'll go ahead and tease the collaborative tote bag with Sam Jane of Jam Store, who you're probably familiar with. I don't want to let any more. I don't want to let any more. Stuff out of the bag here. But it's an exciting time here at How Long Gone Industries.
Yeah, sometimes even we will collaborate.
Who, me and you?
No. Just us in general.
Oh, because I hate collaborating with you. I was about to say
exactly.
That's tough. I didn't want it. I don't wish that on my enemies. But I also dipped my toe into another pool this weekend.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about the solar heated saltwater joint at the Villa Carlotta. I'm talking about I'm talking about an Instagram takeover for matchesfashion.com, an online retail destination.
Yeah, you are getting one step closer to Sakara Life sponsorship by doing influencer.
Oh, Jason,
takeovers.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned Sakara Life, bitch. I am there. I'm getting the Pacquiao this week.
Oh,
I had a
this
great
is exciting.
Thank you for former guest of How Long Gone, Chrissy Rutherford, for plugging me with the wonderful, intelligent, brilliant women at Sakara Life. They agree that men are underserved in their community, and that giving someone like me the pack is going to help them encourage men to sign up. So they are. I'm unfortunately, I'm only working with a small fridge here, so I'm trying to find a ghost kitchen fridge to store all of my Sakara Life. So Jason, I might have to come to Glendale every day and pick it up, from you. We're gonna work out. We're gonna work out.
How much room can overnight oats take,
bro? It's a week's worth of meals, dude. Like, this is a game. I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in a week on this shit, dude.
About fucking time.
But also, I honestly, they were the story of Sakara Life was really interesting. We'll get into that on a later podcast, but I didn't really know.
We'll get into that on a later podcast once I see the fucking check, bro.
No, we're gonna have one of the co-founders of Sakara Life on this podcast to tell the story yourself.
Somebody pinch me.
I know, you don't be too excited, because you need to. I'm ready for you to pivot to, food that tastes fine but makes you live better. Because right now, I feel like you're too into food that tastes good, and you honestly, Jason, you're a little lethargic sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if that's the edibles or the fucking carbs or what it is, but I need a little more pep in TJ's step.
Well, I mean, I've been drinking more coffee. Does that help?
I think that's one step in the right direction, but some of this gluten, some of these carbohydrates, I think they're weighing you down. Mentally, not even physically. You look great.
Right. Mentally. So, but I have been running you around in circles on the tennis court. If I'm lethargic, what
Jason,
would that make you?
I'm injured. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm still recovering.
maybe I'm mentally injured. Did you ever think about that?
You've been you are mentally injured, and you have been for a long time. But now this is affecting my paycheck, so it's time to talk about it. And I think
you want me to get fired up? Is that what you're saying?
We need to optimize TJ's brain. So I don't know if we need to call Joe Rogan and get the Alpha Memory Focus Pack sent, or or you need to start snorting Taika. I don't know what it is, but
I don't know how much more MCT oil I can take before I start getting a leaky gut, Chris.
That would be bad, actually, because the stuff that you're eating, I don't want it to leak.
Okay. So I mean, that's a good idea. I do like living and eating like that. So I will, I guess I should be introducing less pastas and breads into my diet, and some more steamed spinaches and things like that.
Well, they let me know at Sakara Life that this week is I think a raw cinnamon bun week. I need to hurry up and sign up so I don't miss that. That's a very popular item.
Raw cinnamon bun week.
Well, that just means it's on the menu this week, so I need to jump so I get that in my...
Can you explain what this is for our listeners and myself who aren't exactly sure?
It's just a meal plan, but it's healthy and plant-based and gluten-free.
So it's vegan and
I don't know if it's actually vegan. I don't think it is, but it's I'm sure it's close.
It's a health conscious meal plan where you go online, you sign up, and like I want this salmon and brown rice dumb thingy in here, and then I want this seitan scramble here, and I want my keto crumble cauliflower pizza here, and then they drop off a cute tote bag on your Venice Beach doorstep.
The thing about it is that interests me, obviously,
start sucking it down.
It's only hot chicks, right? It's only hot chicks and influencers, which is what I'm trying to be. So
this is a no uggos, no fatties meal prep solution.
I don't know. I'm sure you start uggo and fat, but then once you have this car life, then it's lit, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The before and after tells the story.
No, but they were very nice, and I'm very excited to try it. And I was campaigning for it so hard, and I'm glad it actually worked. I was simping.
Well, we look forward to the unboxing. Maybe you can bring one of your meals over to the house and let me get a bite. Jason,
I will let you get a bite, King. And while we're talking about getting a bite, when's the next dispatch from the TJ Substack?
I'm gonna try and go weekly dispatch with it. I'm in the middle of writing a new piece right now, and I have a lot of ideas in the chamber, but I'm going to try and do a 3-in-1 Substack plan. 3 weeks out of the month is free. 1 week out of the month is behind the paywall.
Wow, so you do expect people to pay for your content?
Yeah, I mean, I've had up to 7 people say that they would subscribe to it for money.
I've been contacted by at least 7 individuals with real email addresses saying they would happily pay for this.
But I mean, after writing one thing, I have, I don't know, like 600 subscribers now. But I mean, they're all unpaid. But
would you say that went viral for you?
I wouldn't. I think for me, I would say viral, and it had a lot of people, in prestigious media outlets.
Can you thank me for bringing those people to TJ? Because I just want a little.
Thank you for the repost. So we have the good people at Fast Co, GQ. The list goes on. These aren't just lowly staff writers. These are EICs, baby.
We only fuck with EICs here, but also, I mean, Jason, you've brought me to the well of like a EDM DJ, and I'm bringing and I'm doing the reverse for the same thing for you, in a different category. So
it's weird because like the DJ world, it's such a unrespected, undignified world where I could make $1,000 or $3,000. I could make $3,000 an hour.
Yes.
Getting drunk and doing bumps under a table. or you could write a viral piece for a prestigious publication and get spend 2 weeks and 3 revisions, illustrated by an amazing artist and and get the check for $300 6 months later.
I love the DJ community. That was not a shot at your community. I love.
I know, but I was just I was more so kind of juxtaposing the two career paths that I've touched in my life.
Yeah, I mean, you were really on your way until your cool guyness got in the way, which I'm not going to let happen now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry. The cool guyness will not get in the way of my my future writing career. But why would somebody want to write and get paid truly peanuts by a newspaper or magazine or website when you can just have like fucking 25 people subscribe to your Substack and you're making more money?
Because one is cool and one isn't. But maybe I'm actually cool. I'm
Chris,
cool guy myself.
You are the king of nothing cooler than getting the bag, though.
Yeah, but I still find I still crave the approval of big media, and maybe that could be my downfall. But luckily, I've secured other additional revenue streams.
Yeah. Would you liken it to maybe editorial versus commercial work? One helps the other. One back scratches the other. And
Jason, if I come out of pocket for one more fucking Vogue editorial, I mean, I'm going to lose my mind. But luckily, Beats is calling, and I'm still getting this work.
Mm-hmm. We need we have to create things that can go on the grid, not on the stories, Chris. And sometimes you have to.
Shit, dude, that's actually
invest.
That's really a deep statement, actually. We're creating stuff to go on the grid, not the stories, is the most profound thing that I've heard you say in a long time. And I think that could really cross boundaries. I think that's another viral hit for TJ.
I'm always saying real profound things like that. But this is entering Gary V territory of like create. We should be creating moments for the grid, not for the stories. That's true. Does it pass the grid test? If the answer is no, back to the drawing board.
We always have to be optimizing for
grid. Is this freaking palm tree cool enough for the grid? Chris asks himself, and if the answer is yes, bam.
Don't come for me. Don't do that. Not on my podcast.
Is this picture of an avocado green vintage Mercedes-Benz good enough for the grid? No, it's stories only. I don't care if it has a novelty license plate.
Now you're talking about a photo that I've actually posted before, and I'm feeling truly unhinged.
No, I swear to God, that was off dumb. Swear to God.
You're a monster with it, TJ.
That's just how well I know you.
You know that Sampha song, "No One Knows Me Like the Piano"?
Yeah, I'm the piano, and you're the Sampha.
Yeah. You're the piano, and I don't know whose mom's house it is, but you're reading me, and I love it.
I have a piano in my house, bitch. I don't have to go to some mama house.
Oh, I forgot you have a piano, but you can't tickle them keys. You can play them keys like Alicia.
I can't play them like Alicia or Sampha, but I can. If I play only the black keys where every note is in tune.
Wait, we do not fuck with the black keys in this podcast. Fall back, bro. Fall back, bro.
Look, I'm awful at piano. I can only play black keys songs.
I know you like Ford commercials, but you gotta elevate your taste. Where is Sampha? I feel like Sampha. I was thinking about. Because it was the anniversary of Nothing Was the Same, so I was listening to Too Much. So then I went into Sampha. Like that motherfucker has really got the gift. Where is he? Do you think he's just
I don't know
off cycle right now and he's making music?
I've been thinking about Sampha as well recently. Of like, yeah, he really came out. Everyone loved his album when it came out, and yeah, he had those Drake songs, and it's been quiet from Team Samph for like 3 years now or something.
Let me get in touch with the guys at Young Turks Records, and we'll find out when the 7-inch is dropping.
Yeah, hopefully he's not off the oxys or anything like that. I fear the worst now when
truly,
I hear these stories.
I know. I mean, but honestly, truly a blessed voice, like an incredible musician. I miss that actually. So I was listening to him. I was listening to some Sampha this week to just get back in that zone.
Chris, you're gonna have to listen to some new bleach blonde James Blake until then.
Bro, James Blake, you can have that loser. You can that motherfucker he's truly cucked himself into obscurity.
Yeah, I unfortunately feel like I have to give James back to the streets.
James belongs to Jamila only now. No one wants him.
What other people have been ruined, rotten from the inside out, imploded by their partners.
I honestly
who
can't.
Other people in history.
Well, it's tough because it's like an indie guy. It's like he's cool, and then he dates this. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other people in that position where they're like very cool, Pitchfork approved, and they go date like a famous actress. It usually works out because it makes them cooler and more famous, you know. But
yeah, I mean, is John Legend and Chrissy Teigen another example of that? I think isn't it weird that John Legend and Chrissy Teigen are cooler people than James Blake and Jamila?
I don't know. I think Chrissy Teigen is the worst of all of those people. So I don't know if I can agree with you. But
I don't think so. I think Jamila is worse.
I mean, Jamila is truly cursed, but I think Chrissy Teigen's cursed and her platform is bigger, therefore making her more annoying.
Yeah, but if you were to hang out with both of them, like in person, like went out to dinner with them.
Oh, Chrissy would definitely be more fun to hang out with.
Exactly. And so would John. But like
Chrissy and John.
I used to be a Jimmy Blake stan. Like I booked him. We DJ'd together.
Did you and Jimmy go back to back?
No. We went back to back for one song when he switched on after me playing.
He can't DJ though, can he?
He can DJ. He's not great, but he definitely can DJ.
Who's the number one musician DJ that you've played with that was like surprisingly good and that's not their job? Like they're actually a musician, but they're that good of a DJ.
That's actually a very good question. Maybe Perry Farrell. No, I'm just
damn. Really? I was about to say shit. Perry Farrell.
No, he was but he probably like learned how to DJ in the '90s, like on vinyl with a bunch of like ketamine raver guys, and has been doing it. I mean, like I don't think Jamie XX counts. Like he's a good DJ.
No, Jamie XX is a real DJ. I think of him as a DJ almost first sometimes.
Yeah, I might have to get back to you on that. That's actually a good. I mean, I can do 1,500 words on that.
I mean, I think that's interesting because there were that time period during TJ heyday. Was very much a lot of like, MGMT DJ set. And it's like these guys get up there and fucking are high on coke and can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was bad, but it didn't matter. Like the block party DJ set was truly atrocious. But everyone were pulling their hair out.
We've seen a lot of block party DJ sets between us, bro.
But I mean, like the first James Blake record, like that came out. I was probably going through a breakup. It was raining all the time. And I would just listen to it over and over again and be like, damn, this motherfucker's spitting. And now, like, I can't... It's just hard to listen to his music when, he's singing about Lil JJ.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I rarely... I can't think of another instance of that extreme.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of people... Who else has been ruined by their partner?
I mean, some would say Kurt Cobain since he got murdered by her.
Oh, shit. I mean, number one.
But I actually don't believe that. I'm a Courtney. I prefer Hole to Nirvana, so I would never say that.
Oh, God. So you really think that Courtney did not orchestrate his murder?
No, dude. No.
What do you mean no? Most people disagree with you.
I don't care. I'm a Courtney stan. Courtney's the real legend of the crew. Courtney, honestly, I would rather listen to Hole 10 out of 10 over Nirvana any day of the week.
That's how you can't be trusted. I mean, look, Hole had some good songs. Hole had some good songs, but how much of that was because of Courtney Love?
Well, if Billy Corgan and Kurt Cobain wrote it all and she smashed, then she earned it. Like, what the fuck? It's all her, bitch. What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, she's not writing these songs that are...
Yeah, but if her man is writing the songs, she's bringing more to that band than Melissa Off Dumar.
So, okay. Yeah, that is true.
Bro, Celebrity Skin, bro, awful. The second track on Celebrity Skin is an absolute fucking movie. Malibu, absolute fucking movie.
Yeah, but, But Courtney Love.
I'd rather listen to that than
she's performing those songs. Those aren't her songs.
Jason, I don't.
Somebody else is writing all that shit.
I don't have the credits in front of me, but like they're her songs. Like they're her songs. Courtney Love should be exalted and held up as a goddess. I honestly think she's an incredible celebrity. She's very funny. She's dated only legends, and the music is that good. That's all I look for. That's all I need.
She is widely known as was one of the most annoying celebrities in the entertainment industry. People hear her coming down the hallway and turn around and run in the other direction so they don't have to talk to her.
Not me, sweetie. She gives me a kiss on each cheek and we talk about Dior and then she hits the stage. So speak for yourself. But this podcast stands firmly with Courtney Love, and I will overrule you in any way about that.
I do not.
That's something I'm very passionate about Hole, and I think that record is I would rather listen to the first three songs on Live Through It than any Kurt Cobain songs.
Well, yeah, well,
except for the David Bowie cover, that shit slaps.
Man,
from Unplugged. From Unplugged.
You have a twisted view of music, my friend.
No, you're a Nirvana apologist. Let's just be real with what it is.
What is there to apologize for? They're one of the greatest bands of all time.
But here's what I'm saying about that. You never listen to Nirvana, you never think about Nirvana. You don't.
No, I don't.
Exactly. Hole is I think about and listen to, therefore making them more relevant to me.
So I don't think about Nirvana enough, and you think about Hole and Courtney Love enough.
Yes, therefore making them more relevant, because we're talking about relevancy. We're not talking about chart position. We're not talking about cool sweaters. You know what I mean? Like what Kurt Cobain's really known for. Also, to be fair, Dave Grohl has kind of sullied the reputation of the great Nirvana.
That 1,000% agree. But also your skewed view of relevancy is not in line with the majority of people, uncool or cool.
I understand that, Jason. That's why I'm different.
Yes, and there's sometimes it is different, good and cool, and then sometimes it was different. Yikes!
I think there's a lot of listeners of this podcast who love Hole as much as I do and might stand with CB on this.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and if you think that Hole is a better band than Nirvana, please let me know. Please let me know so I can freaking return your t-shirt money.
we don't do refunds at How Long Gone. Don't get it twisted. But I do.
Yeah, that's only because of COVID. We can't do any returns or exchanges right now. So sorry, guys.
Do you think we could get Courtney Love on this podcast?
Yeah, I think so. And I would have, even though it's recorded over fucking Zoom, I'd still have to burn and throw away this microphone.
You're such a hater, bro. Like I should make you a
I'm a hater because Kurt Cobain, one of the greatest musicians to ever lay it down on a fucking Fender Strat, wrote some amazing, tortured, heart-wrenching tunes that changed music forever, was straight up killed by her.
Kurt Cobain is just the Hot Topic Elliott Smith, bro. And that's on God.
Sometimes maybe Elliott Smith Elliott Smith was so un-Hot Topicked that a little bit of Hot Topic actually made it better.
I know. I think that Nirvana could be one of them.
But also, Elliott Smith did not rock. I love Elliott Smith.
Elliott Smith has some rockers, bro. L.A., the song rocks. Division
Nirvana,
Day,
bro.
Division Day. That song rocks. I just don't believe Kurt Cobain.
You can't headbang.
No, you can't.
Elliott.
I'm saying that's my issue with Nirvana. I just don't believe him. Like I don't believe the shtick, and I might be wrong for that, but it just doesn't feel real to me in some ways.
Do you believe the shtick of Courtney Love?
No, but I believe she doesn't either. That's the beauty of it. I think it's a shtick. I think Kurt thought it was real. That's the thing I don't believe. Courtney Love is a performer. That's why Courtney Love is an actress. She's a singer. She's a performer. She knows what she's doing. Kurt Cobain was like
she's
smoking.
A crisis actor.
Kurt Cobain is the kind of guy who would like burn himself with a cigarette for attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't believe him. Like I don't.
That would kill somebody for attention.
Maybe, but I did see Courtney Love play, and it was not great. So when I was at the Yola Mezcal Festival, it was seeing all my favorite female artists like Licky Lee, Cat Power, and Courtney Love. But she did play a couple of my joints, and I was fucking psyched even to hear a bad version.
Man,
I want to see. What? Go ahead, bitch.
How did you take the news? Do you remember where you were sitting down when you heard that, thanks to COVID, the Yola Festival was not going to be happening this year?
That's why I lost
virtual.
That's why I lost the final set last week. Is because I was just so distraught. I was so distraught over the cancellation of Big Yola Mezcal Festival.
Take the Fuck Yeah Fest. Take Bonnaroo, but do not cancel my Yola Mezcal Festival.
I'm not kidding you. The Yola Mezcal Festival lineup on paper was more up my alley than maybe any music festival I can think of.
I agree. It was looking kind of nice. It had Cat Power, Charlie XCX, and
Licky Lee and Courtney Love. Now let's not. I don't like when you laugh at Licky Lee, because I think Licky Lee also made an unbelievable album that is sadly underrated. Jason,
I agree with you. But when I hear Licky Lee and festival, I'm thinking Licky's more of a we're doing 800. I never
learned.
8,000 through the door.
I never learned from 2014. Gunshot. That record is an absolute fucking classic, and I think it needs to get more respect.
That's a black bop.
That record slaps, and the new one sucks, but that one is a classic. That shit I love. I'll listen to it. I'll pull it up right now. I just want all my female queens to sing. That's all I want to hear. I'm so sick of male voices, Jason. You know what I mean?
It's about time somebody said it.
That's what all I want to listen to is female musicians, and that's the hill.
Maybe at the end of this episode for you, Chris, as a treat, I will close us out with a little leak. What do you have a leak request?
It's got to be from that album. It's got to be from.
All right, I'll choose my favorite tune.
My favorite tune is Gunshot number 5. That shit slaps. Big drums on that.
Big drums. Will it make the cut to be playing us out at the end of today's episode? Sadly, no. But it is a good song.
Wow, Jason, why would you tell me you were going to do it and then not do it?
Would you say that Licky Lee album is your Kid A?
No, I don't. I'm not pathetic enough to like anything as much as you like Kid A. Mm-hmm. What is going on? What? So Radiohead predicted the end of the world?
Yeah, I haven't been able to break through the paywall, but the Wall Street Journal did write an article entitled "How Radiohead Predicted Our Tumultuous Times 20 years ago." There's a new book called "This Isn't Happening."
Yeah,
exploring the rock band's eerily, like the eerie connection between Kid A and predict, the same way that everyone likes to say, like the Simpsons predicted.
So Tom York predicted Donald Trump. That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of foreshadowing. I will read it. For some reason, I clicked on the article on Wall Street Journal, and it did work. So we'll see. Maybe our friend Neil Shaw can come on this podcast and chat about it.
Is that the writer of the book?
It is.
I'll sit that one out. You two dorks talking about Radiohead for 2 hours is more boring than their music.
Chris, you're just so jealous that you don't have the Illustrated Wall Street Journal or New York Times bust of yourself.
You're right. I am. I would love that. That would be cooler than liking Radiohead. But I can't. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm not there. Hopefully one day I can earn that.
Neil Shaw, he writes about pop music for the Wall Street Journal. We will hit up good old Jacob Gallagher, get the pluggy, and then we're going to do a full 3-hour episode about Radiohead's Kid A and its connection to Al Qaeda, as well as the Infowars universe.
Are you saying that
Tom York predicted
9/11? Did Tom York? So you're saying that this article says Tom York predicted 9/11?
Tom York, 9/11 to my heart.
Okay. On that note, Jason, it's been wonderful to talk to you on this beautiful Sunday. I'm going to go outside and really catch some motherfucking rays. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
It's
a little pasty ass, some sun, baby.
Bitch, I'm looking. Are you kidding me, bro? I'm looking like brown sugar out here. Guys,
don't get too tan. Don't get a little red for our Twitch show this week.
Don't worry. Our hair and makeup team will be there to make sure that my nose is powdered.
Can we here's a question. Can we do face filters on this shit or no? Is the technology there?
I think the technology is there, but I'm not there. I think that's too corny for us.
Copy that.
But yeah,
Grown
anyway.
ass man can't be doing no goddamn filthy
How
boy.
long gone? Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. You don't even know what's in store. It's going to be a motherfucking motion picture.
We also don't know what will be in store.
We also don't know in store. It could be a television show. We'll see. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, listeners. We'll talk to you later.